If you need the water, check the beaches in the Carolinas. If you need the mountains, try the Appalachian Trail. If you need the redwood trees, gotta go to Yosemite. If you need me, 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 I'll be in Kansas City.
Welcome to Kansas City Limits Radio. We're here meeting a diverse group of talented people, but we want to talk about Teresa Deaton Band and what they have to offer us and where they've been. We've also got David Marshall. Now, David, how'd you pull off getting in here twice in the same year? That's kind of kudos. You're our first boomerang back, aren't you? I think so. And then we've got Guy Hodson.
Yep.
Yes,
that's
right here.
Yeah.
And everyone in Kansas City probably knows that cat.
No,
Oh, yeah.
No.
They don't. They will. And J.E. Cornwell, our executive producer, and a little special thing going on today. This is our last show of the season, the last show of 2023. So congratulations, J.E., to all the work and effort you put in to get all these talented people in front of us. And give it up for J.E. if you would. out there. Thank you.
Great work, sir.
No. Thank you, Robert.
Appreciate you.
Thank you guys for being here. We're glad that we finally did this. In fact, we go back to June when David was in the studio with us, but that was because actually nothing against you, and you know that, but that was going after her, but she was way too busy for us at the time. So we end up finally making her our last show of the year.
Save the best for last.
So glad that we finally got
with the talent you've had in this room.
And of all
Thank
of
you.
the things that have happened through the year, it worked out even better, right? To be able to feature the Teresa Deaton Band.
You get a little, you have the year to kind of, recap on. So we'll get to that in just a second. But first, I'm Robert Bierce. I'm your voice here at the Kansas City Limits Radio. And we want to thank our sponsors at home and abroad that help us put this program together. Without them, we would not have the successful show that we have now. But first, we want to start with our primary sponsor, Kansas City RVs, voted 2023's favorite RV dealer in Kansas City by the Kansas City Star. AMPR, Area Musicians Promotional Resource, a non-for-profit organization. Black Moon Media, LLC, photos and videos for our Magical Souls and Kansas City Limits executive producers on our TV program. Open Mortgage, where better is possible and owning is still better than renting. Knuckleheads Kansas City, a music joint, voted #1 music venue in Kansas City by Kansas City Magazine. If you haven't been there, check it out. Kansas City loves Knuckleheads. Kansas City Limits TV and radio, spotlighting Kansas City's local musicians and much, much more. Check us out. We have a YouTube channel, and it's beautiful. Soundworks Recording Studio in Blue Springs for over 20 years, where Kansas City Limits Radio is recorded. And thanks so much to Andy Oxman and his team for all the love and support they've given this program here in 2023. S&S Printing, a commercial printing and design company. B4 Productions, creating commercials and videos. They'll bring your ideas to life. Summit Video Services, award-winning video production and video services. And finally, Midwest Music Foundation, giving local musicians the care they deserve. And welcome to Kansas City Limits Radio.
Wow, that was excellent.
Wow.
Were you practicing?
I've had a whole year to get this right, haven't I?
That was 23 times.
That was 23 times.
23 times. I was telling Andy when I got here today, I knew we had 22 shows, but I actually was looking at my calendar going back to look at our street shows, right? So,
right.
And I'm like, oh, you know what? Our first show was actually the one we did with Randy Miller and the Nace Brothers.
Yes.
Back in May, I think, or end of April.
My predecessors.
And then the one that you and I did,
Yep.
which was a fucking joke, but it was still, it was good practice, as Andy says, but it was,
It was good banter.
it wasn't good at all. It sucked.
Listen, practice makes perfect, right? So
we got here, though. We got here, and we are so glad that you're here with us. Okay. First, and I like to tell everybody thank you for those that actually take the time and fill out these little forms for us. It does help us in this process of getting the information about your band out to the world, at least the world that listens to Kansas City Limits. Okay.
But no one would have been able to read this if they were born like yesterday because it's in cursive.
I know.
I didn't even think about that.
What foreign code is this?
Right.
What's wrong with what is this? Yeah, that's
Please,
true.
someone translate. Let's go to an elementary school.
I'm writing all my journals in cursive, so nobody in the next generation
They
will
won't
know what the hell I was
It'll
doing.
be
I
hieroglyphics.
agree.
Right.
I think when I go and move on to the next world and I have a tombstone made, I'm going to have it done in cursive as well.
Backwards cursive.
And let's go ahead and jump right in. We'll go ahead and talk about the new Teresa Deaton band. And Teresa, why don't you tell us about that?
It's the official launch today, basically. We've played one show. We have a handful of them lined up for 2024, and offers are coming in. So just to tell you a little bit about what we are and what we're doing, the band is made up of excellent musicians. I am just running hard to not be the weakest link. The first and foremost is Guy Hodson, of course, is playing drums for
Who's
us.
that guy?
That guy, and everybody knows him in Kansas City. So Guy is a vocalist. He's a drummer. He is an amazing actual front man. So I am
Appreciate that.
absolutely
Check in the mail.
honored to be.
He's a
with,
troubadour.
Honored to be making music with him. He plays with the Troubadour Retrievers, of course, here in town. Flies out to Nashville to make music with Tyson Leslie. Flying all over the country at this point. I think Idaho in March.
Yeah. Craziness.
Craziness. That's what we do.
But I love it.
Danny Duncan is a member of Lost Wax. He plays lead guitar for them. Shredder. So we've got a guy who plays, they know what, 800 plus songs in Troubadour Retrievers. And then we have Dan Duncan, who is my Shredder guy that plays the voice box. He plays with Lost Wax. He also plays with the Stonebreakers here in town. So metal guy, his roots are always or go back to metal, but he is so versatile. He steps in and plays with us as well.
He has beautiful hair.
Yes, it's flowing.
He's gonna love to hear that.
I love his
That
locks.
balances things out in the band.
Right.
For sure, for sure.
Tell him I
My
saw him. He has
bald
split
head.
ends.
We have guy with no hair, Danny with long hair.
right.
I guess I'm the only one in the band that can call him Danny. His grandmother called him Danny, and that was the only other person. So anyway, that's what I call him. Angela Ward is our keyboard player. She plays with the James Ward Band, very connected in the blues scene in Kansas City. You'll see her at the Blue Room. You'll see her playing with the Ernesto J Band, Kansas City Economic Development. Her roster this month is plumb full. She is versatile. She also plays with KC Flo, Patrick Lentz. So again, we're in the top of the line here. Wade Buchanan plays now. He's in the countryside. So he's playing with Travis Marvin. He's played with Cassie Joy, County Road 5. He's traveled probably more than all of us for music. And he is Dave's like soul brother. They are, if I can't have Dave Marshall, I want Wade Buchanan because they are so equally beautifully talented.
They share the same brain.
It's
best
almost
friends for 20
terrifying.
years.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And then the other piece of the puzzle, we have a horn section available. If a client wants us for their wedding or their gala or their community event, their festival, we will bring horns. We've got horns from KC Flo that will step right in.
And we're not talking cattle, people. We're talking a
You will not
trumpet,
get
a
gored.
tuba. Yes,
That's right.
excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent.
And honestly, if it weren't for, and this is part of the reason Dave's sitting here with us today. First of all, he is one of my best friends of all time.
Dave Marshall.
He's one of
welcome
those
back.
3 a.m. friends. But I would not have met any of these people if it had not been for him.
Isn't that kick ass?
Absolutely.
How someone can just help you in that love like that? That's
Absolutely.
awesome.
He looked at me at one point and was like, is there something, is there something else you might want to do maybe one of these days? Because I've been playing with a local band, TNT band, for about 8 years. And he looked at me and was like, there are some things you might be able to do. And so now we're doing them.
Right
Nice.
on.
So
Right
that's the launch of the Teresa Deaton Band. I wanted my name on it. We tossed about names for a good bit. And at the end of the day, I'm the first female business owner in my family on either side. And And it means something to me. That name means something to
Go ahead
me.
and plug that.
Yeah, yeah.
Plug
tell
your
us-
business.
Tell us about the day job.
So I'm an insurance agent, American Family Insurance agent during the day. My office is down in Belton.
The Teresa Deaton Insurance
Teresa
Agency.
Deon Agency. There's a theme here.
Yeah, I'm getting it.
Licensed in Missouri, Kansas, and Ohio. Oddly enough, I have a whole bunch of Deaton family in Ohio,
Oh,
and that's
excellent.
how that all started. But so the daytime, I'm 50 hours a week in the insurance business, change hats and go make music and
love it.
change the whole dynamic.
Do your customers know that you like to get down?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's funny you asked that. I actually started out, I didn't want people to know I was playing music in bars because I thought, I mean, what is your typical
Really?
You're a
What's your
bar
typical
busy.
insurance agent, right? As an old white guy.
smoke
No offense to
marijuana?
old white guys, so here's this chick who started an insurance agency. Oh, and she makes music in bars. So I was going to be Hannah Montana and wear like suits during the day and then make music at night,
Right
and never
on.
the two shall meet. I have had the pleasure of those two worlds coming together. I've made music on Main Street in Belton. I've made music in bars in Belton and right down the street in Peculiar. And so the two worlds just work so beautifully together. The Belton Chamber of Commerce has had us play. In fact, we're booked to play already in September for an event for them. So it's just this magical thing that's happened for me.
What's that bar in Belton that you play?
Paradise Bar and Grill. We've played at Roadside. We've played at Merle's down in
Merle's.
Peculiar.
Isn't that the one that Tim and Karen go to?
Yeah.
Yeah,
We've
okay.
played at the Frog Pond down there.
Oh,
in
no, that's the
Peculiar.
one. Frog Pond. down in
Frog Pond is
Peculiar.
actually, I'm going to take a leap and say that's almost basically women owned. And
okay.
Frog Pond has been such a friend of ours. And
It's a cool little venue.
very much so.
Wyatt and Waters play there.
Yeah.
Good act. And yeah, it's the only time I've been there though. But anyway.
Down home. Yeah.
Yeah.
Never been. Do they serve frog? No,
They serve the best food. Like
Oh, okay.
it's great bar food.
Tell them to get the frog burger on there. I'll be down. All right.
Kermit sandwich.
Yeah.
I think if you show up on a Sunday morning, they'll make you some biscuits and gravy, but I don't think it has frog in it.
Got to get
love
some
biscuits
frog on
and
that menu, people.
Right.
So tell us about your band. And you told us a little bit about, them, but how did you guys meet? Like, what was the first connection of like, oh, you do music, I do music. Tell us that story.
So I was playing with TNT Band, which was myself and Terry Wood. And at one point, Dave had obviously played music with Terry because we're all related, right? Musicians are all related in Kansas City. So Dave had played music with Terry. We were looking for a drummer, and we brought Dave in to the band to play with us. And then as time has rolled forward, we had a wedding to play in March, and Guy sat in with the band to play drums at a wedding with us. And then Angela was pure, like, Dave was like, you need a keyboard player. Here's Angela. And the same thing with Dan Duncan. We were playing shows. We needed a lead guitar for some of those shows, and he stepped right in and just took it and ran with it. And then Wade, of course, also sat in with us. But again, Dave was very much like, hey, this
Well,
is
how's
your
that going
guy.
to work out with, because I know with Dave, he stays busy on his own. Guy is all over the place.
We'll have to clone Guy.
You're just mentioned,
The world might
I enjoy
implode.
being
a
a
couple other
musical
guys
whore.
that are. So do you just sit down with this big calendar and everybody gives you their schedule and then you
That's
try
exactly what happens.
to? I got you.
Yeah.
Okay.
We call it Scotty McBee. You probably
Oh,
We love
he's
Scotty.
been in this.
He
he
studio.
calls it calendar Tetris.
Calendar Texas.
I do that as well.
I
actually.
was just getting ready to
we
say
all
the
get
word
on our
Tetris.
shared Google calendars
Right.
and all right, who's available on that date that the client is asking for, and that's kind of how it goes.
Nice.
And the beautiful thing about what we do is nobody's replaceable, right? But Swiss Army knife musician over here beside me can play electric guitar, bass, and drums,
Yeah,
at
sure.
the drop of a hat. And we all, like, everybody has a backup. So and it's all the same quality, right? We're not going to sub in somebody that's subpar. We're bringing in an excellent musician to sit in
Top
their spot
shelf.
for that show. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
That's great.
So that's the plan. You end up with an ensemble cast at some point because you want to continue playing,
Right.
but we don't want to hamper. And I am the biggest fan. Like I could sit here and I will sit here and brag on every one of them because, if Dan's down in Texas playing with Lost Wax, who can we bring in to play guitar? My first phone call is going to be Dave. So the intent is to stick with the core if they're not available, and we really have a beautiful offer on the
Six
table.
piece is the core, right? That you just named?
The core is 5.
Oh, 5.
And then we can always add a horn. We can always
So
something else.
who's drummer?
Guy.
Mm-hmm.
And bass is
Wade Buchanan.
Dan is lead.
Lead. And Angela's keys.
And Angela's keys.
Mhm.
And then Dave comes in and does whatever.
All of it.
Pinch hitter.
You know what's important is what
Chitter.
you were talking about the quality of people you play with. Being familiar with the people you play with. Because your performance subconsciously is squirked. So if that's even a word,
It is now.
It's squirked. So you're not 100,000% on all 8 engines because there's a change in the whole scene. So having the right people all the time as consistently as you can
Yes.
is important because the people that are listening to you are wanting to have that same experience again.
Right.
And believe me, you change one. Drummers are a special breed of drummer.
Yeah.
They all have a different style.
We're definitely special.
They're definitely special.
Yeah. Touched.
We bring them in.
We bring them in and try to fix them.
Try to make it work.
Like she said, she's done a good job of lining up people to where if a client books the band and one of us it's not going to be multiple people that are going to be out. At
Right
that
on.
point, she would probably bail on the gig.
Oh yeah,
But one person, if you can do it without the client noticing, that's the key.
right on.
you know,
Still have that quality.
And still
Yeah.
not suffer any on the product side. So
Well, and that
everybody's
helps
happy.
the band. I mean, that helps not just that gig. It helps, other gigs, every musician who's out there.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, we've
All
got
of
a
you
great
guys-
community and the people that we're comfortable bouncing gigs off of if we're not
Well, yeah.
available.
I mean,
are
you
all
got
great
people that follow you and what you do. Same thing here, et cetera, et cetera. When you've got an ensemble like that and they bring in their own people, that's got to make a bar owner or a venue owner pretty happy. I mean, that you got all these people that are automatically following these musicians around town to put a all-star ensemble together.
Very much so.
So who is your target audience? What's the earlobe you're trying to jerk the most?
The earlobe I'm trying to jerk the most is weddings, galas, community events. We're moving beyond and we're wanting to go regional. This is beyond, and there's some of my best relationships are local dive bars. I love my bar owners. The first venue to give us a shot, was Baristro, and now it's headquarters, and it moved to Harrisonville, and they still have our solo artists go in there and play. So those relationships are key. The difference is we've put together an all-star cast to put on all-star shows and be at a different point. We want to travel to Omaha and Tulsa and be regional so that we're at the price point, quite frankly, and at the level of audience that can appreciate what we're bringing to the table.
Yeah.
So you want to have a produced show, so to speak.
Mhm.
You want to be a product of a produced show
Yeah.
that does not the bar scene so much, but more like a presentation at some event in someone's life
Mhm.
or at a corporate venue that's trying to promote or do something wonderful with great music.
Very much so.
That's really your target audience that you're trying to get to.
Yes.
Awesome.
And not
awesome.
just Kansas City. I mean, you guys are going to have a
They're
reach.
like
that-
the region.
yeah.
Yeah.
Very much so.
I think that's a great goal.
Stick them on the bus, do the corporate tour.
Yeah.
It's almost like that. It's like how many 500 plus businesses are within 300 miles of Kansas City that would love to have a quality band entertain their people this year?
That is led by a woman who owns a business and understands return on investment and understands what a woman-owned business or anybody-owned business is looking for.
We've had a lot of people on the show. You're the first group of people that really, that's kind of like, that's the thing you want to be, so to speak. And I applaud you because it's taking your talents and trying to cash in on them on another level.
Right. The first step before anything ever started, I went in the studio Again, Dave introduced me to Matt Russo, who records, and no offense, I know I'm sitting in a recording studio right now talking about a different recording engineer. The first thing I
sorry.
did was I went into a recording studio and put vocals down, recorded audio demos for this new project. We're building a website with a professional company. We're just operating at a different level because the product that we're putting out, and it's not a produced, tracked show that we're putting out real music. But the product we're bringing to the table is Guy and Dan and Angela and
All
Wade,
these quality people.
these amazing musicians.
Yes.
And tracks are great.
Right.
Tracks are fine if that's what you do. This is just, it's especially with bringing in, a sub every once in a while, it makes it a much more fluid project to where it enables us to kind of go different directions with it and not be locked into tracks, if you will, with vocals flown in because we're going to do the vocals.
Yeah, we had a whole entire interview, a band or two before. They put on their paperwork they were so proud of the fact they don't use tracks.
It used to be cutting edge to use tracks. Now it's cutting edge to not use tracks.
Yeah, it is so weird how that went.
I'm of the latter. To be
I am
honest.
too. I'm old school. I grew up singing. My mom was a voice teacher. I like singers. I want people that can
Me
sing
too.
and harmonize.
And being able to reproduce what you recorded live with an audience is crucial in delivery of getting that expectation met where people will want to listen to you again. And sometimes, I worked with all sorts of different producers. You may, Matt Allen, he's done Lost Works and some other things, Phil Collins Experience, and we were talking about that. I said, do you produce to the level of, where the song is like, almost like, well, that ain't going to sound like it's going to sound live? Or do you strive on making what you produce live sound just like your recordings? And it depends on the song, but I think, most people enjoy wow, I thought you guys would have, it sounded like in the recording you made that up and you used a whole bunch of special effects and shit. But man, when you played it live, it sounded just like that because it was real. It
was
wasn't
like going to see Rush.
Yes. So it was real.
It's organic.
Totally.
And human.
Yes.
I mean, if you
More
want a
human than
DJ,
human.
hire a DJ, and you can hear it perfectly, just like the CD plays it.
Yes.
But if you want to hear humans play music, then it's not always going to be. You can get into the whole pitch correction argument too, and all that. I like the warmth of the human side of.
I followed the
air,
Grateful Dead around for many years, so I understand that a lot.
Humans entertaining humans.
I think it's charming.
Never played the same song twice, ever.
They tried one time.
Who?
The Grateful Dead.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, it's just when you go to a show and you see a live show, I think it adds warmth and a human side and a connection to the artist if you do hear something that's less than perfect.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to
Agreed.
be perfect all the time.
It makes
I totally
you
agree.
real.
Right.
It
And
makes
I'm
you
going to
real.
laugh. Like if I mess up, if I fuck something up, I'm going to laugh.
Yeah.
And
you should.
I was told so early in the day, like when I first started making music with a band, I was like, please don't laugh because then they'll notice you messed up. And I'm like, dude, have you met me? I'm going to mess up.
Sure. I mean, so start off laughing before
Right. Please
yeah,
start
and
off
then,
laughing.
Yeah, and then they'll just think you like to laugh.
Right.
Tell us about your writing new music and what that's been, that cascade to what you're doing, and how many new songs have you wrote?
I have one so far. We've got
Okay.
more in the works. I'm
Okay.
going to share that new one with you today.
Awesome.
I
We're gonna
might
hear
make
it live.
through without crying. Might.
Might?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You might get a tear out of me, which is a rare thing, but you might.
We got cameras filming. You'd be the second person that's cried on the show.
The rare moment.
We had Brock Alexander cry one here.
Oh, hey.
We made him cry.
He's a baller and baller. Anyway,
he warned us though.
he did. He was like, anyway, you could turn his crying into a PETA commercial. You really could. But
For
anyway,
just $2
back to you,
a
Teresa.
day.
So you're going to do this song, and you may or
Yeah.
may not have a tear come flying out of your eyeball.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this beautiful thing has happened. Dave, again, we just keep coming back to this theme, but I had written this chorus years ago, like years and years ago, and then got busy with life, got busy starting a business, got busy making music with this other band, and just every weekend was booked. And as that is slowly winding to a close, I had some time on my hands, and Dave and I have talked so many times. We have girls' night at Dave's house, so Dave and Jen and
Aw.
Stephanie.
Something you want to tell us?
Right. So Jen and Stephanie and I will sit. So
How do we
Dave's
get
wife.
invited to that gig?
Right. You can't because
We have to go through a change.
You have
Didn't
to
you
be-
hear? It's a girls'
Oh.
night.
You have to be female or Dave. So those are the qualifications. But
Ah.
I get
so
the
Dave's
pass.
wife, Jen, and I, and Stephanie, our friend, we sit around the kitchen table and we talk about life and we talk about what's happening with us. And then about midway through the night, Dave will get home from playing music somewhere and he'll sit down at the table with us for a while. And we always end up talking about business because ADD, and that's what's in our hearts, right? And so we've talked so much about, hey, Dave, I've got this thing in my heart. Like I have some music that I want to put together. And he's like, well, send me the idea and tell me what it's about. So he sat down and wrote the verses to this song. And then our friend Micah Burdick, who is a great musician, works with Patrick Lentz, took what I had done and turned it into this whole other thing. And Dave has a version of the
Metamorphosized
song, and
it.
he did metamorphosize it.
Yeah.
Mike is
Um,
my co-writer too. So
Cool.
Yeah.
he and I were like, well, let's get together and see what we can make.
Tweak it
happen.
more.
These guys took time out of their schedule to sit down together, like sit down with me, and took this, like my soul baby, and just put it out in the world. So I
Right
am beyond like honored and humbled to be surrounded with people who believe in me and who took the time and take the time to find what's important to me and put it into the world.
And I have to throw this little bit in there.
Yeah.
So when we were preparing for this, we got kind of like halfway through the song, we got the structure and everything together, and we kind of got where we needed to go with it. And we talked, and she goes, I don't think I want to do this yet on the show. And I went, hell to the no, to the no. You're going to do
You
The
will walk up
song
to that podium.
on Kansas City Limits. So
Yeah.
here we are, and she's going to do it.
Dave's very forceful.
You know,
He's
I
very-
will say to you, I know exactly what you're
mercy.
talking.
Attaboy, Dave.
Yeah.
I know exactly what you're talking about, and there's a song, and the name of it's not important. The content of it is not important, but my band performs it, and it took me years before I could sing that song without crying towards the end of it. You know, and you almost have to forget about the context of the song and just focus on your range and the tempo and everything. You got to block out almost all that emotion till the very end.
Right.
Then the very end, you go ahead and zone in on that emotion, scream and cry and bawl and give them all that they are coming to see you for.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think obviously I started this business. I started my business on a single income, first female business owner in my family,
Hallelujah.
starting my own band on a single income. And there's one human in the world, human male, who can tell me what to do and I'll actually do it. That's the kind of friend Dave is. Like, and his wife, Jen, they have opened their home for us to have practices with them or at their house. They have
So important.
spent so many hours just sitting around the kitchen table, like talking about where does this go? What does this look like? And so when you say Teresa Deaton Band, yeah, it has my name on it and it is mine. But at the same time, like, my God, the talent and the minds that are, it's my job to showcase every single person that's in this group. And this whole thing has come about. The reason Dave's sitting here is he helped me bring this thing.
Well, you're
into the
not on
world.
this show because you suck. Okay. So, and
This is true.
Yeah. I mean, neither either of your other performers with you. I mean, there's a lot of people. You can't get anything done by yourself. It takes a lot of people to help you. And if you got the right people where they really see, I mean, here's the one thing about musicians, and we've also seen this through this whole entire year. The bands that do the best have members in that band that are so high off of trying to help you with what you're trying to do. They want to see your thoughts and your song just go, wow. And they're not going, well, man, that isn't how I would do it. That doesn't sound like what a song I think we should do. I mean, they're all about the person trying to put that energy out. And so that's the constant with all these bands that have been successful. And I
Well
know
said, Robert. I like that. Yeah.
It's going on
God.
right here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
If you're just joining in, whenever we put this out into the world, we're sitting here with the Teresa Deaton Band. And Teresa, you put down here, you got a website coming up, 2A Marketing. Is that the company doing it?
Yep.
I've actually heard of them.
Yeah.
And so when's that supposed to be up?
We are, I actually have storyboarded our demo video update with them, and they're simultaneously working on our website right now.
Did you buy the domain, Teresa Deaton Band?
We have.
Good.
So we have a Facebook page, and the next steps are coming. The good
And that's
stuff's
just
coming.
Teresa Deaton Band
Yep.
on Facebook?
So if you
Okay.
get on
It
Facebook,
won't be on OnlyFans though. No OnlyFans.
Hey, can I throw you a marketing idea?
I mean,
Can I throw you a
She was
marketing idea?
"Oh."
what you got?
You remember denting gum?
Yeah.
Skew it and have your name denting band and wrap it around the gum.
It's fresh.
And, yeah, and hand that out. I think what is that denting band?
Attaboy, Robert.
We'll leave you feeling minty fresh.
That's
We
right.
will.
He throws
Guy will,
everything up on the
specifically.
wall, no matter his
And,
some sticks.
recommend
and
it.
if anyone in your band has terrible hygiene in their mouth, this will solve the problem going forward.
We are all top of the line, everything.
Flossers and
There's
brushers, flossers and brushers.
There's no smelly anything.
At least 3 days a
That's a
week.
good deal. Everyone's still got their teeth then.
Grunge is dead.
They have them
Excellent.
or they bought them.
No gummers in this band.
And by the way, I just have to say thank you guys for
Sure.
having us, for real. Like,
Oh,
Thank you
I
for
remember standing there. I think it was St. Patty's Day. We were playing at Vivo, and I think Mindy Hart came running around the through the doors, and she goes, "Do
At
you have
Mach
any
5.
originals? There's a guy over here who has a podcast, and he wants you to do your originals." And I was like, "No, I don't have any originals." She goes, "Well, get them." She turned around and walked off.
Isn't that the same? That was
That's our
you
stage
guys-
manager from
You
Briarfest.
did with Uproot. Weren't you
Yes.
sharing that? Isn't that how we put up the deal together in July or whenever we did that show?
Yes, we
Yeah.
did.
Because it was, I saw you both in there. That's right.
Mm-hmm. That was
Well.
at night. Yep.
Jay has that effect on people. He walks in a room, doesn't matter if there's a musician or not. Just people start looking for original music.
Right.
I was already informed, though. Tim Williamson and his wife Karen, good friends of mine, they are big fans of Teresa Deaton, and so what Karen says goes. So we all follow along whenever she's got, and boy, she was spot on. So I'm glad I got to go,
Thank you.
and it was a good crowd too. It was, a bunch of drunken idiots on St. Patrick's Day, but.
We like those people too.
And we love Daniel, and
Yeah.
Daniel does great for local music in this town. And, and by the way, you were there Saturday? Where were you Saturday? I thought you played Saturday somewhere.
Oh, that was Jerry's, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
we
that's
played
Jerry's. Okay.
It took me a second to catch back on.
Oh, well,
Yes,
Jerry's is always packed on a Saturday night.
We,
Yeah.
we did. We played Jerry's Saturday night. In fact, it was our drummer's last night with us. We have one more show left on New
yeah.
Year's Eve. And then, but yeah, we did. We
And Guy,
played
you know all
Saturday.
about that. In fact, didn't you build Jerry's? I think you and McBee.
I
I think,
wired
Yeah, well, honestly, it started with Scotty McBee,
Yeah.
Justin Collette, Brett Boulay, and myself. Yeah,
That's cool.
yeah.
Jerry's Jam Night.
Jerry's Jam Night. We had
Jerry's
both
Jam
going
Night.
at one time. We had
I
the Lee
love it.
Summit and the Lenexa, and it was crazy. It was nuts. It's still, Brandon and Brett are still keeping it going strong with some help from Bruce and whoever else is available when Brandon's out on the road traveling with his
I
band
love
or
that.
Danielle.
I just absolutely love that.
It's nice to have something that's so established still be going
Yeah.
for,
And to be honest with you, when it first got going, because I remember when they opened, there was a little Mexican restaurant that used to be down there on the end there in Old Town Lenexa. We'd
El
go
Taco.
to, and I don't remember. And so they were just putting it together, and this was obviously years ago, 20, 25 years maybe. I don't know.
the Jam.
No, Jerry's.
Oh, Jerry's predates me even. Jerry's,
so
I remember working at Worlds of Fun in the shows, and a bunch of us from the casts in the shows came out to this place I'd never heard of out in Lenexa.
Yeah.
Out there.
You thought you were going fishing.
Right, and it was out in the middle of nowhere at that time for me because I was this East Jackson County boy, kinda.
Right.
And
I said to myself, how is anybody going to get anybody in here to play? There's no freaking room in here.
When that was first going, it was a debauchery between the music going on stage and the parties in the parking lots. I mean, it was crazy. It's calmed down a little bit now, but it's changed, but it's still
it's not so rural.
It's not
so rural anymore.
No.
Those days I remember.
Well, because we were approaching it, we wanted to kind of toe the line between running a jam for people,
right,
but also entertaining the crowd that doesn't understand that the level of quality could go up and down a little bit with the jam, and you don't want those people to leave. So we were still, getting the A-team, we would call it, getting the hosts up there, busting out the cover tunes to keep the people in the door to party.
You can't have the crowd leave.
No. So, I mean, it was rough at that time, not pissing off some people, being like, nope, we got to get going, because we were running it as a show. It's like, let's keep this moving forward. Keep it moving forward.
You guys were organized. What the hell?
It was a rough spot, period.
Now it's a little looser, and we're not, but I'm happy it's still going. Brett.
Back in the day when they first got going, I mean, I think they may have added in some room, but
they took out
always would spill outside. I mean, Lenexa PD, they were there all the time. There were ambulances there.
They could smell us long way away.
You know how they made more space in there, don't you?
I don't.
They took out a table.
Oh, there it is.
There's
Mr. P's.
Right.
Like one table.
We don't need two bathrooms anymore. There's just one.
But Jerry's has been great for the local music scene.
Well, now, isn't that you guys would have met there for the Troubadours, right? You, Bruce, Scotty, and Brandon?
Yeah, so the Troubadours came about just out of the jam night thing. Yeah. Just because
and
we
thank
were
God.
we wanted to play outside of just doing the jam thing, and we all had our own projects going on, and Scotty and I and Justin had been playing together since high school days and stuff, so we kind of, it evolved out of that. And then it turned into kind of a similar thing that she does, to where we have backups for all of us, and we just kind of see who's available and do our thing.
Teresa mentioned it earlier that you guys have a book that you travel around with, and is it 800 songs, really?
Yeah. It's a lot of them aren't in the book. We've because we're kind of lazy on that end, and we haven't updated the books with the hard copy things.
And they try to stump you, do they?
We love it, because then you're not playing the same songs.
I was going to ask, is that why you guys catalog it? So you know your diverse catalog and try to mix it up? Is that the deal?
Yeah, if you don't write it down, you forget what you know.
Well, I think it's just for. I think it's
Post-its were invented for a purpose.
I think we made those books years and years ago, so those books have grown to where there's songs that aren't in there. So a lot of times now we'll get to where people will request a song, and if it's not in the book, we'll discuss it, and if we can pull it off, and usually that's.
Well, then you got people at the at the podium or wherever you guys have the book for that night, and it takes them forever, right? They're up there for 20 minutes going through this, trying to find a song.
And we've got QR codes so people can get on our website too and do it that way. But a lot of people.
Well, last time I saw you, where were you guys playing?
Probably Vivo.
No, well, I saw you at Vivo too. But,
Vivo.
Oh no, you were up at Worth's.
Oh, Worth. Okay.
Yeah, and I didn't see the book up there.
Yeah, it was there. It was there. It was up front.
Was it?
Yeah.
So I'm such a fan that I have actually booked Troubadour Retrievers to play my 50th birthday party in March.
Hell yeah.
We got to talk about this. I know it's not on your form here, but we got a few minutes. I want to talk about this. Okay, so it's already out, right? So tell us a little bit about that.
What is that?
Your party.
Oh, my birthday party. Okay. I was like, where are we going?
What kind of beer are you going to have first?
So we are actually going to be at Revel, which is at Rosanna Square, right there at 119th and Metcalf. Troubadour Retrievers are playing. It's open to the public. But Teresa Deaton Band is going to sit in. They're so gracious. Troubadour Retrievers are so gracious to be like, hey, come sing with us. And I'm like,
we have a good time. And then it keeps Scotty and I from having to sing all the girl songs.
We need someone to help us.
So, they have agreed to allow or invited Teresa Deaton Band to come up and play for half an hour that night.
Nice.
So
Absolutely.
I won't be playing my whole entire birthday night, but I still get to enjoy playing some songs with my people.
You better pace yourself now.
Yeah, right.
It's on
Oh,
Facebook.
the spankings.
So yes, that's what I was going to comment on.
spankings.
Yeah,
Scotty
Was
has
that
already
was
asked
McMee,
if-
right?
Yeah,
Started
it was.
that,
It
yeah.
was.
It's got to be.
Scotty has already asked if spankings would be part of the.
He is. He's whittling a paddle special out of
He's
out of
he's
the,
making one in shop
out
class
of the
right now.
fallen tree in his
With this
backyard.
time frame, I mean, this thing is going to be huge.
I'm
I mean, is there going to be
assuming-
enough room?
It's going to be nutty for sure.
I mean, what does that place hold?
I don't know, and
We're
honestly,
gonna find out, though.
we'll find out. And honestly, like
It's March, right? Did I get
it's
that?
March 2nd.
So
Mhm.
still cold out,
Still
March
cold out.
2nd.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
and it's 50.
50th
The big 50.
birthday.
I know.
Yeah.
Wow.
Sponsored
I don't
by
look a day
Fireball.
over.
Sponsored
Sponsored by Fireball. My
You know, that's great. You're going to have a celebration like that. You
Right.
know, and so here I'll just throw this out at you. You know, there's a whole bunch of people that turned 50 during COVID, and that sucked for them.
yeah.
So you ought to say, hey, listen, all you people that didn't get your 50th birthday at COVID, or no, whatever. But the point being is, it's great to celebrate like that, and I think you may selfishly forget everything else about your birthday. You just like being in that whole thing of being around all those people
Right.
too. You know,
Right.
happy birthday to you.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
it's going to be my birthday. What do I want it to be? And I know JE did the same thing.
Mine was 60, and it sucked because it was turned cold, and everybody had to move inside.
I'm going to do mine when I'm 80, and we're all going to shoot heroin that night. All right. Okay.
You gotta
See how
have
long that
goals.
shit fucking chase the dragon. But I got a question for all you. We'll go in rotation, and each one of you answer this question if you don't mind.
feel like
What's
I'm on a
most
dating show.
important about you being a musician in Kansas City? And then I'm going to tie it into the other
Who are you
thing.
pointing to, Robert?
Well, I'm talking to our good friend down here, David.
Okay,
But I'm trying to cross two questions in one.
attaboy.
So, what's most important about you being a musician, and what do you love about the Kansas City music scene? So, if you want to tie those into one answer, that'd be cool.
Most important thing about being a musician to me is interaction, entertainment.
Giving them the entertainment.
Yeah, I really like interactive crowds. I like when people are really enjoying what I'm doing. And for me, if I feel like they're not enjoying themselves, and then I'm not doing my job.
Okay.
And for me, I get a lot of enjoyment out of just the interaction, and that's what's most important to me. The scene, I love the people in the scene, the listeners and the musicians both, because I've been across the country playing music, and the scene here is just absolutely amazing.
It's
And
better.
it's-
It's better than where you've been.
I mean, honestly, I hate to say that about other markets. That I
No,
haven't
but
spent
you're more.
time
They're
in, but-
receiving you.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
the family. To me, it's family. Like that's how it feels in Kansas City. I've been to other places, and I don't know. I don't spend a lot of time in those markets, but maybe it's like that. But here, it's like that. We all take care of each other. We all try to support each other. We all help each other get to where we want to go. And I'm not afraid to ask anybody here for something. And
To get
I
help.
make sure that others know, don't be afraid to ask me, because I want to see all of us succeed. It's important.
Jackie Myers moved up here from Austin. She hadn't been here very long. We had her on the show. She was talking about the same component you're talking about.
Yeah.
People welcoming and receiving and trying to help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful scene. It's just mind blowing sometimes. I can't believe how, and even when one of us gets in trouble in our personal lives, like if, medical issues or, car gets broken into, something gets stolen, everybody comes together and,
Wow.
hey, do you need to borrow something? Can I help you? Is there something, can I cook
That's
dinner?
called love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And that's the kind of people we have here in the music scene. And I love that. That is just an incredible thing.
Indeed.
Teresa, you?
To me, so I'm going to give you this very ethereal answer about music and what's important to me.
Repeat the word.
Ethereal.
Oh my gosh!
I'm gonna have
Thank
to
you.
look that up.
ETHEROL. Screw it.
Divine concept.
Key to your opinion music.
Like a fairy. I'm going to give you a very so for me, the important part about music to me is, so what I do every day is somebody got in a car accident, or somebody's house burned down, or we need a roof on our house, or my kid just turned 16 and you're going to give me a really bad news about what that premium's going to look like. And so I walk out of that office after doing serious stuff all day, and I go and I sit down or stand up and let my soul just fly around the room. It is the most freeing, most beautiful thing.
A release.
When you ask what I'm passionate about making sure people are taken care of. Don't make any mistake about that. But when it comes to what I love to do and the expression of my whole self, it is making music. That's when I am free to just fly. And especially when I'm playing with musicians who get it, who are listening. When I fuck up and we go off on a tangent, they just go. And it's this beautiful thing that happens. So to me, that's the important piece of it. It's the release, it's the passion. And then when the crowd flies with you, and when they're getting it and the whole band is getting it, like it's just this place
That
of
magic.
synergy. Yeah.
It's magic.
So that's my ethereal answer. So you
God,
can
that
look
was a
up.
great answer.
It's
I got a
magic.
little chill on that one
Yeah.
too. Thank you
It's
so
the
much.
deepest truth.
And
for
the Kansas
sure.
City scene, what do you love about it the most?
I think exactly what Dave said. You know, when I went to make this move, I called Deanne Kinch, who has been in your studio, and I said, you know, there are women in the world who will never give an inch. They want to hold it all for themselves, and they want to fight and claw and scratch. And I have not run into that in the music scene at all. It's the same thing. She took the time. She's taken more than once, sat down and read what I said or listened to what I had to say and had, hey, I can't talk right now, but I'm going to call you Monday and we're going to talk this through. Um, People that will stay, who will go their extra mile, who will make sure. And it's like, I still look around like a little kid, like, first of all, they're paying me to do this. And secondly, like, these people believe in what I'm doing so much that they will take time out of their lives to like pour on me. And I'm like a fern just taking in the sun and water and just growing and flourishing. And my hope is to be able to pay that back and pour that back into them.
Right on.
Well said.
Guy?
What was the question again? Just kidding. Just kidding.
How do you get that?
You're the third contestant
What's
on
most important
the dating
to you?
show.
What's music to
Follow
mean to
that
me, kind of
word.
thing?
I'm a Pisces. No, what's most important to you about being a musician? And what do you love most about the Kansas City scene?
I think connection. I you know, in all other aspects of my life, I'm not the greatest communicator. Music is the one thing where I can absolutely be as vulnerable as I need to be and try to emote and show people the real guy and hopefully meet and have a connection with just maybe one person in that bar that night.
Wow.
And then if I'm in, the best thing for me is to sing a song, tell a story about it, tell a personal thing of why it means so much to me, and then sing it, move somebody to where they come and find you maybe later that night or maybe at
your
another
house.
gig weeks. That's fine too.
In your
But
bushes.
maybe down the road a couple weeks later, they come find you and they tell you how much that moment meant to them.
Wow.
That's everything to me.
Yeah.
And you know, it's been a year of transition. Now I'm doing this pretty much full time in just music. And it was a thing out of fear that I didn't do it before. I had stability. I had the day career, but
Sure.
it wasn't my passion. I
Right.
did it because I did it to pay the bills and I could do music on the side just out of fear. I've always just wanted to do music since
and
I
you
was
jumped
a kid.
into it with both feet.
And so, yeah, and it's been amazing. This past summer, I've met her. I've gotten closer to Dave. I've known him through the scene for a long time. I've been so fortunate to get the opportunity to work with so many talented people in the Kansas City scene, which kind of leads into the next question. Kansas City is such a historical music scene,
Yes.
and it continues. And I'm so proud to be a part of that lineage because, you know, Charlie Parker, all these people that would play down at the drum room down
Yes.
and the Mutual Musicians Foundation, which
Yes.
still is going strong.
Love that place.
We're not necessarily in that scene, but we're part of that cloth that is the Kansas City, the music scene. And it continues with the younger generation. I was just here at the studio a few months ago, hanging out with Andy just to catch up with him. And here comes Circle Drive. Great band. And it makes me feel so good to see that Kansas City is still thriving in that manner. And we do have such a great scene to where we can call one another if we need a sub, if we're having problems. We all work together. There's not this kind of, I don't know, animosity or threatening thing that goes on with a lot of other scenes.
That is well said,
Like,
man.
and the quality here, I would put against any other place. Like you guys mentioned, she mentioned that I go to Nashville. I love Nashville. There's a ton of music in Nashville, but it doesn't mean that it's all great.
Right.
There's a ton of really quality stuff here in Kansas City that I would put up against a lot of that stuff that's sitting in Nashville.
Absolutely.
Any day.
We've had several people in this studio say the exact same
Walk
thing.
up and down Broadway and listen to those bars. And
Yeah.
I'm like, man, I can
That's
do that
awesome.
in Kansas City. And some of the people that I can do it with do it absolutely better than what
That's
I'm
why
hearing.
the two of us sit in this room with this guy. We absolutely love
And that's
that.
why
Yeah.
I'm so proud to be a Kansas City.
Yeah.
It's Kansas City, and I want to stay here. I want to keep
Yeah.
working with my people.
And we want you to stay.
I hope so.
Okay, we're going to have to wrap this up real quick. One thing you put down here, Teresa, was on your accolades. You have Band of the Year in the, well, you tell us about it because I can't read your cursive. So
Who can? I can't even.
Please bring in the translator.
I don't remember the official name. It was like the wedding vendor nominations. Basically, we haven't even gotten started, and we were nominated for Band of the Year for.
how does that
2024.
happen?
It's connection.
Okay.
It's friends. It's people that are wedding vendors who believe in us, who know what's getting ready to come out of this group and out of this new project.
Well, as you and I were talking before the show, I mean, Danny, or whatever you call him, the guitar player with your band. I mean, Lost Wax has been, and for many years, like the #1 or top wedding booked band in Kansas City.
Yeah.
And so maybe there's something in there for you. But and then you put down here something about you wrote some song.
No, it says she's psychic.
Oh.
It says she's psychic.
She
Right
knows big words. Oh, okay. Nice.
He has ESPN.
I was going to show off my knowledge.
She's
apparently.
psychic and knows big words.
Sorry, I baffled you guys a couple times today.
Wrote my first song.
Look, I graduated high
first
school,
song.
lady. Let's not talk about JD, okay?
Yeah, please. Okay. Well, one more time, I want you to list the name of the band members in
bandmates.
the Teresa Deaton band.
So it's obviously Teresa Deaton, Guy Hodson, Angela Ward, Dan Duncan Jr., and Wade Buchanan.
And we are excited. And don't forget our fill-in, David Marshall. He'll be plugging in with the band as well.
The king of the band at this point.
And when's the next show? When's the next
Just a
show? And
cheerleader.
like 2 weeks from now, when's the next?
March 2nd is our.
Your next gig with all you guys together.
Yeah.
March 2nd.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then what'd you say when can people expect the website to come up?
That should be up by then.
Okay.
That's
So
my expectation.
we'll try to plug as much as we can.
Yeah, if you have it up before the show goes out, we can stick it in
get
there.
that out
Yep.
there. Yeah.
By the way, we ran into Bob Pennington here when I got here today, and we are on his roster. So, Rock and Mock Production.